All right, hi everybody. I'm Emma with Duke iGEM 2017, and I'm here with Parth, also from Duke iGEM 2017. How are you today, Parth?
Doing pretty well. Hello, people on the internet.
So, what year are you in? What's your major, and what role do you play on our iGEM team?
I am a senior. My major is BME, and the role that I play on the iGEM team, I guess I'm the cloning guy right now. Just figuring out everything about cloning and getting our vectors and inserts working, jamming together.
Awesome. So you're a senior. How long have you been doing iGEM?
So I first started iGEM in high school. It was my sophomore year of high school, and I guess that's, 7 years on the team now?
Something like that, yeah. That's
crazy.
crazy.
7 years in iGEM.
Wow. So how was that transition? I mean, you've obviously been involved with the iGEM community for many, many years now. What was it like being on a high school team versus on an undergraduate team, and how did you make that transition?
Well, the thing about the high school team was we were still competing in the collegiate division. Our high school team had been around before there was a high school division, and that was a lot more convenient for us. As for transitioning between the two, I think the only main transition was colleges have a lot more equipment and funding, so that's really nice, and lab space, so I don't have to, work in the back of a biology classroom.
Interesting.
So other than that, not too much of a difference. I guess I get to interact a lot more with grad students now, and Mike, our PI. So that's really nice, having people who are experienced.
What's the best way to navigate that relationship with a graduate student or your PI of how to get information and learn from them, but also take your own project and lead your own research?
Honestly, there's not a concrete way to do that. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to sound embarrassing or uncool to your grad or PI because we are lowly undergrads. It's okay. As for owning your project without making everyone else do the work, essentially it comes down to researching, putting in your own man hours, delegating responsibility, but also making sure it comes together, making sure communication is still happening. A lot of the things you're doing right now. So.
Well, thank you. Okay, so if you could pick one piece of lab equipment to talk to and interrogate, I guess is a good word instead of question, but what piece of lab equipment would you talk to, and why would you talk to it? You've been involved with this for so long. I'm curious to see which one you actually want to talk to.
That's a really good question. I've gotten used to a lot of lab equipment. I guess maybe lab equipment I don't really experience that often. Flow cytometry, I barely get to even see flow cytometer. Most people do that portion on their own, and I stick with cloning and stuff. Mass spectrometry. There we go. I guess those two pieces of equipment. I'm not sure what I would ask. Maybe, what are your secrets? How can I make sure things go smoothly and not, mess up? I don't know. What do you even say to lab equipment?
I have no idea.
There was that one time during...
Most of them I just want to punch.
There was that one time during an iGEM meeting of ours. I'm pretty sure this was before you were on the Duke iGEM team. We were talking with a different PI, Dr. Bushler. We were trying to design our own PCR machine, sort of garage biotech type thing, and we started joking around that maybe we could get our PCR machine to talk to us, be voice command, automate things, be a Jarvis for PCRs. That'd be really cool. But I don't know, interesting question. Hopefully that was an interesting response.
It was. So if you could go back, well, first off, let's talk about, do you have any plans for after graduation?
I should. I should have plans for after graduation. Things are a scary nebulous cloud right now, and I'm not sure where I'm going.
Isn't it so much fun?
Yeah, it's
As seniors,
great.
I feel like, I don't know, this is my perception, you can tell me what you think, but like, I feel like there's this like pressure to like know what you're supposed to be doing, and then like 90% of the time I have no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of because of that pressure that a gap year is really tempting to me right now, just because I feel like there's so much for me to keep up with as it is right now. I don't feel like I am prepared necessarily to go to grad schools. Like, I want to show grad schools that I've done something. And I mean, being in BME, my GPA doesn't really show it right now. I kind of want to put my name on some papers, show that I have lab skills that encompass everything that I could possibly have learned in a lab, things like that. Pursuing a PhD program is also great, but again, same problems. So I figure if I could try and find some sort of job or some lab position somewhere, I could take a year, relax, get through everything, GREs, applications, whatever.
That's awesome.
There was an awkward jump cut. It's okay. We're redoing the question.
So, if you could go back and tell yourself, right after you graduated high school, you're about to start college, what would you go back and tell yourself?
So to rehash an answer, I would tell myself to just go ahead and do multivariable calculus. Save yourself the trouble of doing Calc 2. Already did that, don't need to do it again. Just move ahead, get through Duke Math. It is a great program, but it is, of course, tough. So just go through that. I guess maybe try and take care of myself more. Be better at doing that, be better at partitioning out time and not being afraid to say, no, I can't do that right now. I need my own space and time to relax, to gather myself. That would have been really helpful early on, and I think every freshman who comes onto campus discovers you can't do everything. You can't do everything at once. Try and find something that you're the most passionate about, one or two things, and just focus on that. And if you feel like you have the energy, which I highly doubt you do, but if you do, then you can branch out. That's something that's helpful too.
That's a good answer. So, another fun question here. You've obviously been to the iGEM Jamboree several times in your 7 years of participation. What's your favorite thing about the Jamboree? What are you most looking forward to this year, your final year? What are you looking forward to the most?
So that's an interesting question because I've only ever gone when I was in high school. I haven't gone yet on the collegiate Duke iGEM team. So I'm really excited to go this year. I think the thing I'm most excited about is the actual party that happens after all the presentations are done, because everyone's having a good time. Like all their worries are gone, at least for the night. They get to enjoy and relax, and like iGEM can take us out to some ridiculous place like a Canadian nightclub in Toronto, which was really cool, where you can go and dance in the box of sexuality and sensuality with fog machines. Really cool.
That sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun. There was a soul train. It was great. There was even break dancing.
Wow.
It was nice.
That's awesome.
Yep. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. The other huge thing is, of course, like all the projects, seeing what everyone has done, seeing all this amazing stuff that you can do with SynBio, things you would have never thought of, things that maybe you did think of and are glad that these ideas are actually being realized and carried out, and there's momentum behind it, and maybe you'll pick that project up next. Who knows?
Awesome. That's actually a really interesting segue into my next question here of, one thing that I try to ask all of the people that we've had on our channel is, why do you do what you do? It's obviously hard. We obviously fail at it. science doesn't always work. So why did you fall, 2 parts, I guess. Why did you fall in love with science? And what keeps you falling in love with science?
So that is a tough question because, yes, of course, in science we fail often. That's a lot of it. That's the entire learning experience is from failure and then every so often getting something right and then moving on to the next failure. I think the reason I do it is because of that. It's because even though I know that I'm hitting a wall, I know that in some way I'm growing, I'm developing, I'm learning from it. I can think of new routes around that wall or break through it or dig under it, all these metaphors. I like doing that because it's puzzle solving to me. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of designing things. It's a lot of critical thinking. And I get to own my experiment at the end of the day. I get to write about it. I get to tell people about my experience and share that knowledge. And hopefully I've become much better at my field by the end of the day. That's why I like doing science. It's a lot of learning, but along the way you get to enjoy. I do enjoy some of the manual labor that I do with cloning and things like that. That's why I come back and do iGEM a lot. I love being in the lab. I love seeing people doing their own experiments every so often saying, hey, what's up? How's your experiment going? I heard you ran into this thing. How's that? We get to share ideas, bounce things off of each other, develop. That's what brings me into science.
That's a great answer. That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today. I know I enjoyed talking to you. And with that, any parting words?
Do iGEM for the win.
I like it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.